Welcome back. So before we go into the paper review, it's important for us to acknowledge our sponsors. 3 Crowns Milk is here. Good to have you. We have more sponsors. We'll announce it as we go. And also, we have somebody who gave us a cake. I think she's here also. I can't remember. I'll get the name very soon. But thank you so much. We have lovely cake. I'll get the names, but it's important for us to acknowledge those who have really supported today. Okay, let's start quickly with the nation. Southwest governors join forces to ward off ISWAP bandits. CBN to banks. Don't limit ATM withdrawals below 20,000 naira. Anyanwu at his PDP desk. National Assembly passes 54.9 trillion naira 2025 budget. Why CDS others were denied Canada visa. Alleged 6 billion naira fraud. Utudeko fails to appear in court. An ex-FBN MD Onosonya in court for defense. Okay, which story?
I could start with the major headline.
Yeah.
So the Southwest governors have risen in unison to secure the region and prevent the infiltration of fleeing bandits and terrorists in their towns and villages. So because of the heat under which the military has put bandits and terrorists in the northwest, some of them have escaped into the south. So in recent months, they said there have been reports of bandits being discovered in southwest forests, especially in Ondo and Ekiti. I know those states share a boundary with Kogi State. The northern part of Oyo State has also, been reported to have movement of suspected terrorists. So yesterday, the 6 governors in the geo-political zone were hosted to a meeting at Alausa in Ikeja. They resolved to commence joint surveillance and give full backing to Amotekun with shared intelligence and the use of technology. All the governors, Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos, Seyi Makinde of Oyo, Dapo, Biodun of Ogun, Ademola, Adeleke of Osun, Biodun, Oyebanji of Ekiti, and Aiyedatiwa attended the meeting. They said they were there to, talk about bringing a joint surveillance and monitoring team to enhance security across the southwest. They are also going to be using advanced technology, including aerial surveillance systems between the state security agencies, the local security networks, and federal law enforcement, which are going to be having their communique from time to time to discuss the issue. So this, I believe, is a welcome development. I like the fact that the Southwest governors are coming together to say that we are in this together. We can have our security agencies, depend on one another, work together so that we can flush out all the bandits in the forest. I would think that the northern governors as well will take a cue to that. The eastern governors as well will take a cue to that, so that we'll see how we can flush out all of these terrorists that are disturbing our people.
Okay, so the CBN has issued a very... You have that story?
Yes.
Go on. Go on.
So let me take my story on about Tudeko. We've been following that story for a while about the fact that the allegation of diversion of funds from First Bank. So the about Tudeko, then chairman, and the managing director, then Onosoya, were both meant to show up in court, but they didn't. And because they didn't, the EFCC lawyer was saying that they were arguing that their clients will not show up in court until they ascertain that they should relocate the jurisdiction. You know the way lawyers would always find a way to say technicalities, but the ES lawyer was standing on his ground that no, there's an existing court case that happened with Yaya Bello that this kind of drama cannot be allowed at this time. So the judge was asking Olanipekun, and who is representing Amotekun, to ensure that it will take an undertaking to produce Amotekun on the 17th of March, which is when the case has been forwarded to. However, he didn't take that undertaking. He said that Amotekun is having ill health, and based on being ill, he can't show up in court. I wonder why every time people have to go to court, they discover illness. I thought it was only political, but now non-political elements are also happening.
And you find one illness that you don't have.
It's an allegation. See, this might not even be true. So just come and go through the process.
Anyways,
they say 6 billion was diverted to a personal account, a company account, and there was a diversion of about 6 billion. How far it is true, it will be until this case is heard before we will know.
Well, many people are ill, actually. Is when you now put them in a confined place where they don't have access to their medicine, the pressure is there, the illness will now come out.
Okay. So the CBN has issued a strong warning to banks that restrict customers from withdrawing less than 20,000 naira per transaction at the ATM. If you recall, we have that issue where you're not allowed to withdraw anything less than 20,000. So according to the report, the Apex Bank explained on its website following its recent review of the ATM withdrawal warnings, said that such restrictions violate its regulations and will attract sanctions. According to the CBN, ATM charges for withdrawals made from other banks, it says whether on site, structured in a way, excuse me, structured on the premises that customers should be able to withdraw up to 20,000 naira per transaction. If any banks found violating this, will be sanctioned.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on Obiajilu's story about the governors, you know. I thought it was because they're not all the same party, but they all came together, the Southwest governors, and had
We've seen that happen a lot of times. They usually, when it comes to issues of security, coming together,
I thought it was quite commendable because I actually checked for Adeleke and I saw him there.
He was there.
They are Omoluabis. Daily Sun. You don't have punch today for whatever reason. Prioritize infrastructure, manufacturers tell federal government. Senate wants Northeast included in super highway project. Tinubu approves 50 doctors, 100 nurses for prison inmates. Nigeria strengthens aviation file the ties with UAE and ICAO symposium in Abu Dhabi. Delta CP seeks investigation into alleged attack on policemen by Air Force personnel. Judiciary workers threaten strike over minimum wage. And Southwest governors form team to tackle terrorism and food security in the country. Let's go take one story for the break. One story, anybody has that?
Yes, so President Bola Tinubu, through the Ministry of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, has approved the employment of 50 doctors and 100 nurses to cater to the medical needs of inmates in correctional centers across the country. The minister has also gotten a presidential approval for the National Youth Service Corps, that's NYSC members, to post medical doctors to correctional facilities, you know, in their service year, in realization of the need to protect the rights of the weakest in the society. The minister equally announced the approval of the extension of service beyond retirement age for existing medical personnel under the Nigerian Correctional Service to cover for shortfalls in the short term. Now, before the appointment as minister, they said a state like Rivers lacked an adequate number of medical personnel to cater for inmates, hence the need for employment intervention. So I think this is good. We are constantly complaining about the welfare of the inmates. I know that we say that they have committed crimes, so they should be left in a deplorable state, which I beg to differ, because that place is also supposed to be reformatory for those who are sent in there. So if they have good medical care there as well, it's also good for the state. So this is a good one. Right. I just hope that if they send you there as a medical doctor, you will not say you are not doing again.
Let's go in a very short break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.